This is the final section at the bottom of this Bargello quilt. I've clicked in a boundary, and on the right you can see that this side, these blocks do not come all the way down. They're chopped off right here. So I'm going to have to put the pattern in, and then I'm going to need to use fill inside to remove any section of pattern that falls down in this lower area. I have carefully placed this left part of this pattern. This pattern is designed now in two sections, and I've placed it. I'm going to place this pattern, and then I'll do the fill inside. The pattern is placed now in this section, and I snapped these two sections together right at this point right here. What I'm going to do now is select this pattern and do the fill inside. I want to remove this part of the pattern in this area. Anything below the boundary I want to get rid of. I'm just going to select the fill inside and let Creative Studio remove this section of the pattern. You can see by my bars down at the lower area that it's working to remove that part of the pattern. All the pattern below the boundary area has been removed, and what I'll do now is I'll just quilt this section of the Bargello. That section of the Bargello has been quilted. I'm going to remove the pattern, remove the boundary, and I'm going to make a new boundary for the next area that's down in this area. This Bargello part just goes straight across this way, but there's two small sections in here that have to be quilted. I have drawn in another boundary, and then there will be one more small area left in this place right here, in this part of it to quilt. Right now I'm going to place my patterns in, and I'm going to do a fill inside again and quilt this section out. The patterns are in place. They've been adjusted to fit in the areas like this and down through here. Now I'm going to use fill inside to remove all of this pattern outside the boundary. Creative Studio has finished doing the fill inside, and now I'll quilt out this section and then make my boundary and quilt what's left in this area. This part of the Bargello section has been quilted. Now I'm going to remove the patterns, make a new bound, and remove the boundary and make a new boundary to quilt this area. The last boundary is in place. Now I'll place the patterns and do the fill inside. The pattern has been placed, it's been adjusted, and what I'm concerned about is just filling this area here. And when I do the fill inside, Creative Studio is going to remove all of this below here and all of this below the boundary. To get this to work, I needed to select both this left part and the right part. Now I will do the fill inside. There it is. Creative Studio has removed all of the pattern outside the boundary. Now all I need to do is quilt this last section. That section has been quilted. I'm finished with all the Bargello. All I need to do now is finish the side borders and the pattern, the oak or the maple leaf pattern that was running down the left side and across the bottom. I'm going to do some relocate side border patterns. I want this group of patterns here to appear right there. So what I'm going to do is just select these. This is all one combined group of patterns. I'm going to zoom in, right click, relocate, shift selected to one point. I want to move this point to the exact place where the needle is. I'm going to click yes, and Creative Studio is going to realign that part, that group of patterns, to start at the end of the last side border pattern that was quilted. It's in place, ready to quilt. I need to tell it it's unsewn, and it'll be able to sew it again. The group of patterns on the left border, I'm going to select those. I'm going to right click, choose relocate, shift selected to one point, and this is the point I want to move. Now when Creative Studio comes up with the instructions, I'll click yes. That tells it that yes, I do want to do this. And Creative Studio will move all those patterns right into the correct location. There they are. They're there, ready to quilt. All I need to do is tell them that they're unsewn. There we're good to go. It'll quilt this left side border first, then it will go over and quilt the right side border. When I'm finished with my side borders, I'll take the patterns that are going to be the bottom border, and I will just simply make a boundary and I will move them in place. I completed the blocks on the side and along the bottom, and I alternated the two patterns down the side and across the bottom. Everything is quilted in this quilt project, so it's all finished. You can see that I use mostly relocate selected to one point, or relocate shift all to one point. That's what I do with most of my relocate now, and that serves me well. It's easy. It always aligns the patterns the way I want them to, and I hope this information is of value to some of you.